Welcome back, everyone, to the Table of Strangers podcast. My name is Anthony,
And I am Zaniel.
and today we're going to be talking about hell again for this episode. And we're going to be going into why would God allow, or why would he create people that he knew would eventually reject him?
Yeah, and this kind of coincides also with people who end up being in a lot of grief and loss. Family member has died, and they similarly would ask, alongside with suffering, which we've kind of covered in our very first episode. Why would God um, allow heartbreak and loss? It kind of goes alongside that one. But some people are sitting there and they're like, if I was God, I wouldn't waste my time creating people that I'm going to end up having to push away in the end because I know everything. I know what's to come. I know what's happening now. I'm, you know, all knowing. And we can first kind of start off with even in the Bible, knowing about God's foreknowledge, and we go to Psalms chapter 139, verse 16. All the days ordained for me were written in your book. And then another one also is Romans chapter 8, verses like 29 to 30. Foreknew, predestined, called, justified, and glorified. So God knows every possibility. But I think a lot of us get that kind of confused. Even scholars get this confused. I've listened to a lot of debates, and they're all like, if he knows everything, and he's always known everything, how could we have free will and similar things like that? Just because he knows all the outcomes does not mean he is affecting your outcome. You still have that freedom of choice. He knows all the possible ways that you're going to do what in life, but he is not directly standing in the way of these things, which still allows for that freedom of choice. You still have your free will. you know no matter if God was you know watching your whole life and knowing everything that you're going to decide, that does not mean that he is directly acting on it. You're still making those decisions.
I like to also add on to that.
Okay, you're good.
So there's an analogy I heard of a car, like a car dealership, right? And if a uh car producer, not dealership, but if a car, like let's just say, I don't know, Ford, let's say they make a bad car, or no, a good car, sorry. They make a really good car. Everything functions right. And then you get a driver, and that driver is a bad driver. And then they wreck that car. Who's at fault for wrecking the car? Is it the driver or is it the producer? It's the driver because the driver had their free choice to be a bad driver. They don't have to be a bad driver, they choose to be. Whether, yeah, and so it's not God's fault for why there's bad people. He just let them exist because he can, first of all, and second, that's their choice. They chose bad. He gives us two options, him or world, or the world. And most people, unfortunately, humans are evil. We naturally, it's just in our DNA because of sin ruining the world, and we grow up in a sinful world. It's going to happen. It's in our blood. That's why we need Jesus. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the common conflict about guns.
Oh, gun,
Is it
yeah,
is it a
guns.
gun that kills somebody, or is it the person holding it?
Hmm.
um God created us for us to have a relationship with him. He didn't want to create stationary robots that just do whatever he wants them to do. He has given all of us the freedom to choose how we want life to go. And that is honestly where that true love comes from. Since the dawn of time, we've always had a choice in how we act, what we do, who we love, who we interact with, and he gave us that opportunity. And if someone forced their love onto you, you probably wouldn't love them back the same. And most people, even in some people in their own relationships, they don't have the same level of love for you as you might for them. So you can't always assume that everyone's going to love God as well. And they choose to do that because love also isn't just some emotional feeling you feel now. You see a lot of people break up. I don't have feelings for so and so. That's not the point of a relationship. You're never going to be on one emotion for your whole life. You're never just going to be in this lovey-dovey feeling your whole entire life. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have days where you do not like the person you're talking to. You have an argument with them. Agree to disagree. It isn't about just your feelings, it is about theirs as well. And the respect that you should show for them as much as they should show for you. So if that isn't mutual, say for someone that's going to reject God, God isn't going to continue forcing himself on you. He will let you be. And that is, at the end of the day, your decision because no matter how much you feel like something is a loss, you can always continue trying, regain the passion you once had for the sport you chose to play. Same thing, really.
I'm gonna add on to that
I mean,
too.
yeah.
Love is a mutual thing. Love is always supposed to be a mutual agreement, or even just friendships. There's mutual ground there. There's supposed to be. So God lets us exist and doesn't enforce us to believe in him and doesn't enforce us to love him, because that connection is not genuine, it's not real, it's not actually there. So therefore that would be a one-sided relationship. But God wants a mutual relationship. He does not like one-sided relationships. So that's why there's good people in this world, and that's why there's bad people in this world. There's full-fledged believers and there's not no believers. He lets us choose which side he wants, because after all, even God himself in the Bible said he will spit you out if you're lukewarm. You're either all in or all out. It has to be mutual or no mutual at all.
hmm and even in Deuteronomy, if we go back to Deuteronomy chapter 13, verses 9, um, but 19, I have set before you life and death. Choose life. He doesn't want you to stray away from him just because you have the choice to. He still wants you to be a part of him. He wants you to be close to him, keep a relationship, love him. He gives you the choice to show whether or not you are going to have true love for him. And in true love, like he said, is a commitment. You're going to go through hard times, but only true love is actually strong. It's just like that shallow faith, you know? If you have shallow faith, you don't have true faith. You can waver over the lines, and that's not what he wants. He wants someone fully committed to him. And, God has value upon everything he's created. So you see someone that's like, oh, they rejected God. They don't really have any purpose, blah, 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 blah. God has a purpose even for those that reject God. Because, like, for instance, famous atheist or agnostic, whatever he is, Dawkins, he, Richard Dawkins, he chooses to say a lot of not so great things about the followers of Christ or God. And in doing that, he still opens up the conversation to talk about God. Regardless of his viewpoint, he has opened up the conversation to talk about God to whoever's listening. And whoever wants to have an actual intellectual conversation or thought process, or at least do their research, they now have the opportunity to say, oh, this has been put in front of me. Maybe I should take a little bit of interest. Maybe I should do some research. Maybe I should look into what he's talking about, see if he's lying or if he even knows what he's talking about. So that you've now opened this door to God to find out for yourself, which God wants you to do. He doesn't want dumb followers or dumb following. He wants you to have a sense of some intellectual responsibility for yourself. You can't just follow the leader and think you're going the right way. You need some type of something that will help back up your mind and create a strong faith in God. He doesn't want just mere blind faith. He does want you to have faith in him just naturally. Blessed are those who have not seen, I believe,
Yeah,
when Christ rose. Some people believed him and didn't even have to see, didn't have to see that Christ has risen in front of all these people. Those people all saw him. So they're like, seen the verified facts right in front of me. But he has an even higher value to those who just have the faith in him. And you want to be structurally sound in that when you go into battle with sin and different things that Satan will try to distract you with. You gotta put yourself on the path and continue marching on even when it's hard.
it's like the wind analogy where you can't see wind, but you can feel the wind.
Mm.
I don't know where the wind's going, but I know it's there. I know the wind is going. I can feel it hitting my back. I can feel it hitting in front of me. It's there, but you can't see it. So if you're struggling to believe in a God just because you can't, or if you can't believe in Jesus because you can't see him, imagine how much harder it is. Just like Jesus said, blessed are those who cannot see but believe. He said that because we can't see him yet. We can't see him in all of his glory until the final days. So, yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be very difficult. It's not a walk in the park. But if you have faith, even the size of the mustard seed, you can do extraordinary things with your prayers, with good intentions, and if it's God's will. Those prayers will come true if you genuinely believe that they will. God willing.
hmm So no one's useless in the eyes of God. Everybody has a purpose, regardless of if they reject God or not. They could have an impact on someone's life because sometimes with rain comes sunshine, and the warmth that you feel after the cold is the same. Someone can be very hateful and push those who thought they were close to this person away, and then are just like, maybe I should check out God. They seem really happy over here. So God has a use for everybody. And for everybody, no matter who you are, every breath you take is a chance to build a relationship and not build, but sustain your relationship with Christ and to accept God into your life.
Right before, because I know that's the last
Yeah, yeah,
one. Um, just know to anyone who's still like arguing the fact that there's evil and bad in this world, without the evil and without the bad, we can't know good. So without what's the opposite of light? Darkness is the opposite. It's kind of sort of like yin and yang. You got to have light to understand darkness and vice versa. It's very important. So, yes, there are evil and corrupted people in this world. Bad things do happen to good people because of bad people's free choice to do bad things. But that's not God's fault that they are choosing to do evil. So, just know without that evil, we cannot recognize good, cannot
mhm,
recognize purity.
especially in a world full of bad people.
Yeah.
None of us are perfect in the eyes of God.
But,
So,
anyways, that final
but
question.
we've got a final question for everyone to kind of sit with, and that is if God still chose to create me knowing all of my flaws, What does that say about my value to him?
Thank you all so much again for listening to this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We will greatly appreciate some feedback for these episodes. And um, you guys don't have to, but if you want to help support the podcast, there should be a link to a Cash App, and all money will go towards the podcast. It will help us get a better camera, better recording equipment, editing equipment, and etc. So thank you guys again, once again, for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode.